Hello and welcome to my reflection on the teaching unit I put together for the students in my American Literature Below Basics small group. The assignment was to write an essay demonstrating that Rip Van Winkle is an example of an American mythology. On the screen you can see the original assignment. The characteristics they were going to focus in on are listed there, as well as the questions their essay should answer. There's also a screenshot of a portion of the rubric, the grading rubric, and the modifications to the original assignment I made for this particular groups of students. To understand these students a little bit better, I think you need a little bit of background information on their skill levels. At the beginning of the school year, these students took the MAP reading assessment, and this group has a RIT score in the range of 167 to 218. This means the level students were able to answer questions about something they read correctly was only about 50% of the time. This put their comprehension levels below the ability to comprehend Rip Van Winkle. If we look at Lexile scores, with a Lexile score of 925 for the highest learner in this group, it means that the top student only understands about 53% of what he or she reads and is probably going to experience some reading challenges or require help to understand whatever it is they're reading. The students in this group, their RIT scores put them at reading books with a Lexile level between 100 and 925, which is quite a bit below where they need to be for their grade level and for the story of Rip Van Winkle, making it difficult for most of the kiddos. Comprehending a story on the surface level is difficult for these kids, but asking them to look at the story beyond the surface proved to be difficult for the majority of them. We did the planning assignment, which a portion of that asked the students how to explain how the textual evidence demonstrated the mythology characteristic. Most answers were similar to the examples on the screen. The chart they had to fill out on their worksheet required a quote, paraphrase, or summary from the book, and then an explanation of that quote and how it supported the idea that this mythology characteristic was present in the story. The explanations I got are mostly summaries of the quotes, and I think it's safe to say I'm going to need to spend some more time on the story itself and make sure that their comprehension of what they read is there, and we're also going to have to spend some more time looking at how to explain textual evidence to support the writing prompt. Now, I know that most of the students in this group are not going to write formal essays or literary critiques once they graduate, but the skills of analyzing the credibility of information and supporting an argument with credible sources will be encountered in the real world. Whether they are looking at social media, filling out a job application, convincing their parents to buy the latest gaming system, or just knowing which site on a Google search has credible information, requires critical thinking and reasoning skills. Part of the critical thinking process is to be able to explain why something is a good example to support an idea or a theory, and the essays written in English classes help hone those skills and improve critical thinking. So it's definitely essential that students do spend time writing these type of essays so that they can take those skills into the real world and make them better at finding facts and using those facts. With the assessments, for the assessment formats and the evidence of learning for this unit of study, the summative assessment, of course, is going to be the final copy of the essay, but some of the formative assessments that I used were the planning essay assignment and an in-class poll. What I found out when I did the poll in class was that about a fourth of the students didn't even read the story. And about the same amount of students only read about just a small portion of it. Some of them said they made it through like the first page. Others said they quit about halfway through. And when I asked them why they didn't read the story at all or why they only read part of it, their reasons for not reading the story was they had too much other schoolwork. I have definitely got some non-traditional students. I have a good amount of them that have children already that they take care of, and a lot of them are supporting themselves, so they hold full-time jobs in addition to going to school full-time. So those students, they just didn't have time to read. And then the students who did get started reading, their main reason for not finishing the story was they just didn't understand the story. So that's definitely something I'm going to have to work on. I've got to find a way to make sure kids are reading the stories as well as making sure they're understanding what they read. Those that turned in the planning assignment, the planning and essay assignment, about 3/4 of those students did not understand how to explain the textual evidence, and that was obvious on the samples I showed on the previous slide. All right, so right now, I've only got about 12 of the 49 students who have turned in the final essay, which was due on October 9th. I have not graded the essays yet, but I will probably need to plan a revision workshop. This will be a good self-assessment and reflection opportunity for students to view their work, identify areas that need improvement, and work on their formal writing skills. I will need to hold a small group for those that do not turn in the essay as a second chance opportunity. I think if I delve deeper into the students' needs, I can figure out some tricks to help them with understanding the story and writing the essay. Another adjustment I'm working on is a modification to this group's second quarter pacing guide, so I have more time to focus on the specific needs of this group of students as far as their reading comprehension and writing skills. I am going to eliminate one of our reading units. I know, horrible, since they struggle with reading. But I am going to eliminate one of our reading units so that I can spread out the time of the next novel that has an essay assignment. That way I can allow for more time to work through the writing process and the process of writing their essay and finding all their information. The process of putting together this unit did help me discover ways to make small group instruction more effective and directed to the needs of my struggling learners. So I definitely have some good takeaways from this and some great ideas for the next writing unit my students will do. And I am sorry, there is no way I can talk in under 5 minutes. I apologize for going over. Thank you to those that did watch the recording all the way through. Have a good one. Bye.